Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Kennedy half-dollar coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. Today we are exploring a powerful and often misunderstood coin that carries history, emotion, and hidden collector potential within its large silver-colored surface. This is the United States of America rare Kennedy 1972 D half-dollar coin. Many people have seen this coin and assumed it is common or ordinary, yet serious collectors know that certain examples of the 1972 D half-dollar can be rare, fascinating, and even valuable. If you are a coin lover, this is a story you should listen to very carefully, because this coin rewards patience, knowledge, and attention to detail. The Kennedy half-dollar was created to honor President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination, and from the very beginning it carried strong emotional meaning for the American people. By 1972, the coin had already transitioned away from silver and was now produced in a copper-nickel clad composition for circulation. The Denver Mint, identified by the D Mint mark on the coin, struck millions of half-dollars that year, but high production numbers do not mean perfection. In fact, mass production often creates opportunities for mistakes, and those mistakes are where collector interest truly begins. On the front of the coin, Kennedy's portrait is bold and dignified. Collectors carefully examine his hair, jawline, and the sharpness of the lettering. On the reverse, the presidential seal with the eagle, shield, and stars offers many fine details. Any weakness, doubling, or unusual mark in these areas can signal something special. Because half-dollars were not used as heavily in everyday transactions, many were stored away, which increases the chances of finding high-quality examples today. One of the most exciting things collectors look for on the 1972 D half-dollar is doubling. Some coins show noticeable doubling in the lettering, the date, or details of Kennedy's profile. When this doubling comes from the minting process and not from damage, it becomes a true collectible variety. Off-center strikes are another dramatic error, where the design is misaligned and part of the blank coin is visible. These coins immediately stand out and are highly appealing to collectors. Die cracks and die chips are also found on certain 1972 D half-dollars. These appear as raised lines or small metal blobs caused by worn or damaged dies. Each one is unique, making the coin feel like a one-of-a-kind artifact from the minting floor. Weak strikes are another area of interest, especially on the hair details or the eagle's feathers, and collectors carefully compare examples to identify unusual characteristics. Condition plays a major role in desirability. A heavily circulated half-dollar may show dull surfaces and worn details, while a well-preserved coin can look almost new decades later. Coins with strong luster, clean surfaces, and sharp details are far more desirable. Because many half-dollars were saved rather than spent, collectors must be especially selective when searching for truly exceptional pieces. For coin lovers, the 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar represents more than metal and design. It represents a connection to American history, a president remembered worldwide, and the craftsmanship of modern coinage. The thrill comes from examining a coin closely and realizing that it carries something unusual that others may have missed. This is what keeps collectors searching, learning, and enjoying the hobby. And now we reach the moment everyone waits for: the value and worth of this coin. In the real market today, a normal circulated 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar is usually worth only face value in words. An uncirculated example with strong luster can be worth several dollars in words. Coins with clear doubling, strong off-center strikes, or significant die errors have sold at auction for amounts described as tens to hundreds of dollars in words. Exceptional error coins in top-grade condition have reached prices described as over $1,000 in words. This is why every half-dollar deserves a careful look, because history, rarity, and real value can be hiding in plain sight. Coin number 2. We are uncovering the story of a coin that many people rarely see in daily life, yet collectors know it can hold hidden rarity and strong appeal. This is the United States of America rare Kennedy 1979 half-dollar coin. At first glance, it may look like just another large modern coin, but once you understand the time period, the minting process, and the errors that occurred, this half-dollar becomes truly fascinating. If you are a true coin lover, listen very carefully and enjoy this journey, because this coin proves that even modern-era pieces can surprise you. By 1979, the Kennedy half-dollar had already become more of a collector coin than a circulating one. Although millions were minted, the coin was not commonly used in everyday transactions. Many people saved them, while others rarely encountered them at all. This created an interesting situation where condition, strike quality, and errors became extremely important for collectors. The coin was struck in a copper-nickel clad composition, giving it a bright silver-like appearance without containing actual silver. The front of the coin features the powerful portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a design that still carries emotional weight decades after his passing. Collectors carefully examine Kennedy's hair details, facial contours, and the sharpness of the lettering. On the reverse, the presidential seal with the eagle, shield, and stars provides many fine details that can reveal minting mistakes. Because half-dollars are larger, errors often stand out more clearly than on smaller coins. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is the presence of doubling. Some examples show doubled lettering, especially in the date or the words around Kennedy's portrait. When this doubling is strong and clearly part of the minting process, it becomes a desirable variety. There are also coins with doubled details on the eagle or stars on the reverse, which collectors find especially appealing. Off-center strikes are another error found on some 1979 half-dollars. These occur when the planchet is not properly aligned during striking, leaving part of the blank edge visible. The more dramatic the shift, the more visually impressive the coin becomes. Collectors are drawn to these errors because they clearly show how the coin was struck and what went wrong in that moment. Die cracks and die chips are also important for this year. These errors appear as raised lines or small metal blobs caused by worn or damaged dies. Each die crack pattern is unique, which makes every error coin feel one of a kind. Weak strikes are another area collectors study closely, especially on Kennedy's hair or the eagle's feathers, where details may appear softer than usual. Condition plays a major role in the desirability of the 1979 Kennedy half-dollar. Because many were saved, collectors must look closely to find coins with exceptional surfaces, strong luster, and minimal marks. A truly well-preserved example can stand out dramatically when compared to average pieces. Coins that look fresh, bright, and sharply struck are always in demand for collectors. This half-dollar represents patience and careful observation. It reminds us that rarity does not always come from age or precious metal, but from quality, mistakes, and small details that others overlook. The excitement comes from holding a coin, examining it closely, and realizing it carries something unusual or special. Now we come to value and worth, the part everyone wants to know. In the real market today, a normal circulated 1979 Kennedy half-dollar is usually worth face value in words. An uncirculated example with strong luster and clean surfaces can be worth several dollars in words. Coins with clear doubling, strong off-center strikes, or significant die errors have sold at auction for amounts described as tens to hundreds of dollars in words. Exceptional error coins in top-grade condition have reached prices described as over $1,000 in words. This is why every Kennedy half-dollar deserves attention, because even a modern coin can hold history, rarity, and real collector value. Coin number 3. We are exploring one of the most fascinating modern Kennedy half-dollars ever produced, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but hides rare features and collector value that make it highly desirable. This is the United States of America Rare Kennedy 1981 P half-dollar coin. Many people have seen Kennedy half-dollars in pocket change or coin rolls, yet few understand the subtleties that can make a 1981 P coin a must-have for collectors. If you are passionate about coins, history, and the thrill of discovery, listen closely because this story will open your eyes to the hidden world behind even modern circulation coins. The year 1981 was a notable time in American coin production. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the small P mint mark, struck millions of Kennedy half-dollars that year, yet not all coins were perfect. Because of high demand and fast production schedules, the Mint occasionally created coins with unusual characteristics that now make them exciting for collectors. By this time, the Kennedy half-dollar had long transitioned from silver to a copper-nickel clad composition. While this change reduced precious metal content, it also allowed for sharper striking and more consistent detail, but it also introduced a new range of errors and varieties that modern collectors actively seek. The front of the coin features the dignified portrait of President John F. Kennedy, still striking decades after its initial release. Collectors focus on subtle details such as the lines of his hair, the sharpness of his jawline, and the clarity of the lettering surrounding the portrait. On the reverse, the presidential seal with its intricate eagle, shield, and stars contains hundreds of micro details that can reveal minting anomalies. Every small line, letter, and feature on the Kennedy half-dollar is examined under magnification by serious collectors, and even minor deviations can increase a coin's value. One of the most sought-after features on the 1981 Kennedy half-dollar is doubling. This occurs when the design or lettering appears doubled due to a misalignment during striking. Collectors often find doubling in the date, the word Liberty, or even in the eagle's feathers and the stars on the reverse. When this doubling is bold and clearly originates from the minting process rather than post-mint damage, it can dramatically increase interest among coin enthusiasts. These doubled die errors are considered rare for the 1981 series and are actively documented in numismatic references. Off-center strikes are another fascinating error that can appear on 1981 Kennedy half-dollars. These occur when the planchet is not properly centered during the strike, leaving part of the blank edge visible. Some off-center examples are subtle, but dramatic misalignments create visually striking coins that are immediately recognizable and highly collectible. The larger surface area of the half-dollar makes these off-center strikes especially impressive compared to smaller denominations like pennies or dimes. Plating anomalies also appear on certain coins from this year. The copper-nickel clad composition consists of a copper core with a thin nickel layer, and errors during striking or planchet preparation can create uneven surfaces, missing nickel, or unusual discoloration. These mint-caused plating defects are prized by collectors who specialize in modern era coins, because they are clear indicators of production quirks rather than post-circulation damage. Die cracks, die chips, and weak strikes are also important when evaluating a 1981 half-dollar. Die cracks appear as raised lines or small ridges caused by damage to the working die. Each crack is unique, making these coins effectively one of a kind. Weak strikes often manifest as softer details in Kennedy's hair, the eagle's feathers, or the lettering, and collectors carefully compare multiple examples to identify and document unusual patterns. Some weak strikes, combined with doubling or die cracks, can create highly desirable varieties that are actively sought in auctions and coin shows. Condition is crucial when assessing value. Many 1981 Kennedy half-dollars were circulated lightly or stored in rolls, leaving them in varying states of preservation. A well-preserved coin with sharp details, bright luster, and minimal handling marks is significantly more valuable than a worn example. High-grade uncirculated pieces retain their metallic sheen, clean surfaces, and clear design elements, making them visually stunning and highly collectible. Collectors pay close attention to surface quality and luster when determining whether a coin is worthy of adding to a serious collection. The 1981 Kennedy half-dollar appeals not just because of its physical characteristics, but because of the excitement of discovery. Modern coins often hide subtle errors or rare varieties that require careful observation to uncover. Collectors experience a unique thrill when identifying doubling, off-center strikes, or unusual die marks on a coin that otherwise seems ordinary. This penny-to-half-dollar exploration is part of what makes coin collecting both challenging and rewarding, encouraging patience, meticulous examination, and historical appreciation. Now we come to the question everyone wants to know: the coin's value and worth. In the real market today, a normal circulated 1981 Kennedy half-dollar is usually worth only face value in words. A well-preserved uncirculated example with full luster can be worth several dollars in words. Coins with clear doubling, dramatic off-center strikes, or significant die or plating errors have sold at auction for amounts described as tens to hundreds of dollars in words. Exceptional error coins in top-grade condition have reached prices described as over $1,000 in words. This demonstrates that even a modern half-dollar can carry hidden history, rarity, and real collector value, rewarding those who take the time to look closely and appreciate its details. Coin number 4. We are diving into a modern classic that holds a special place in the world of coin collecting, the United States of America Rare Kennedy 1988 D half-dollar coin. At first glance, it may appear to be a typical Kennedy half-dollar, something you might have seen in pocket change, in coin rolls, or perhaps stored away in a collection for years. But when you take a closer look, the 1988 D half-dollar has remarkable subtleties, potential errors, and rare varieties that make it exciting for collectors and coin enthusiasts alike. If you are passionate about coins, history, and the thrill of discovery, listen carefully because this coin is far more than meets the eye. The year 1988 was an interesting period in U.S. coinage. The Kennedy half-dollar, already a familiar and iconic coin, was firmly established as a copper-nickel-clad coin. By this time, the coin was no longer used widely in everyday transactions, which means many examples from this year have been preserved with minimal circulation. The D Mint mark under the date signifies that this particular coin was produced at the Denver Mint, a facility known for producing millions of half-dollars each year. Despite the high production numbers, imperfections in striking, alignment, and die preparation occurred, giving rise to errors that modern collectors actively search for today. The obverse of the 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar features the iconic portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a design that has endured decades and carries historical and emotional significance. Collectors carefully examine the finer details, including the contours of Kennedy's hair, the definition of his facial features, and the sharpness of the lettering. Every line, curve, and raised surface is studied because even minor anomalies can indicate a coin's rarity or special variety. On the reverse, the presidential seal, with its eagle, shield, and intricate stars, is equally detailed, and collectors analyze these elements for doubling, die cracks, and other unique characteristics. One of the most sought-after features on the 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar is doubling. Doubled die errors occur when the die strikes the coin twice in slightly different positions, resulting in a shadowed or repeated appearance in the date, the lettering, or design details. For the 1988 D half-dollar, collectors have observed doubling in the date and in the word Liberty on the obverse. The doubling can also appear subtly on the eagle and stars on the reverse, adding another layer of intrigue. Coins with strong, clear doubling are highly desirable and often command higher attention in the market. Off-center strikes are another eye-catching error that occurs when a coin is not properly aligned during striking, leaving part of the planchet blank and sometimes exaggerating design details. The larger surface of the Kennedy half-dollar makes these off-center strikes particularly dramatic. The more extreme the misalignment, the more visually impressive the coin becomes, making it a prized piece for collectors who specialize in modern errors. Plating and composition errors also appear on some 1988 D Kennedy half-dollars. Because the coin is a copper-nickel clad with a copper core, production mistakes can result in missing nickel layers, uneven surfaces, or unusual color variations. These are distinct from post-circulation damage and are considered mint-made errors, which makes them highly collectible. Such errors can include peeling, discoloration, or abnormal texture, each telling a story about the coin's creation at the mint. Die cracks, die chips, and weak strikes are additional features that attract collector attention. Die cracks show as raised lines across the coin's surface, while die chips appear as tiny metal blobs resulting from damage to the working dies. Weak strikes often manifest as softened or less distinct areas, such as in Kennedy's hair or the eagle's feathers, which can be particularly notable on the 1988 D half-dollar. When these features occur in combination with doubling or off-center strikes, the coin becomes highly sought after by specialized collectors. Condition remains one of the most crucial factors in determining the value of a 1988 D half-dollar. While many coins from this year were lightly circulated or stored in rolls, the highest value is reserved for uncirculated examples with sharp detail, smooth surfaces, and strong luster. Coins that retain their original shine and show minimal handling or wear are far scarcer than ordinary circulated examples, and they often attract serious collectors looking for top-quality pieces. For coin enthusiasts, the 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar is more than just a collectible. It represents careful observation, patience, and the excitement of discovery. Modern coins like this one remind collectors that rarity does not always come from age or precious metals, but from minting details, errors, and condition. The thrill comes from examining a coin and realizing that it carries something unusual, whether it is a doubled die, an off-center strike, or an unexpected die crack. Now we come to value and market worth. In the real market today, a normal circulated 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar is usually worth face value in words. A high-grade uncirculated example with excellent luster can be worth several dollars in words. Coins with clear double die details, dramatic off-center strikes, or notable die cracks have sold at auction for amounts described as tens to hundreds of dollars in words. Exceptional error coins in top condition have reached prices described as over $1,000 in words. This is why every Kennedy half-dollar, even from modern years like 1988, deserves a close look. Hidden rarity, collectible value, and historical interest can often be found in coins that many people overlook every day. Coin number 5. We are taking a close look at a coin that may appear ordinary to most people, yet hides subtle rarities and collector value that make it highly interesting for anyone passionate about coins. This is the United States of America Rare Kennedy 1992 P half-dollar coin. Many of you may have held Kennedy half-dollars in your hands or seen them in circulation, but the 1992 P example has characteristics, errors, and qualities that make it fascinating for collectors and coin enthusiasts alike. If you love coins, history, and the thrill of spotting something rare, pay close attention, because this coin is a perfect example of how even modern coins can hold hidden treasures. The year 1992 is a modern era in American coinage, but it is far from mundane. By this time, the Kennedy half-dollar was firmly a collectible item rather than a coin used in daily transactions. Millions of coins were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, marked with the small p mint mark below the date, but mass production did not guarantee perfection. With millions of coins produced under strict deadlines, small errors, variations, and unusual strikes inevitably occurred, creating opportunities for collectors to find valuable pieces. The obverse of the 1992 P Kennedy half-dollar features the iconic portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a design that continues to resonate with Americans decades after its introduction. Collectors focus on fine details like the contour of Kennedy's hair, the definition of his facial features, and the sharpness of the lettering surrounding the portrait. Every line, curve, and raised surface is scrutinized because even minor deviations from the standard design can indicate an unusual or rare example. On the reverse, the presidential seal with the eagle, shield, and stars offers hundreds of micro details, which are closely examined for errors such as doubling, die cracks, or weak strikes. One of the most sought-after characteristics of the 1992 P Kennedy half-dollar is doubled die errors. This occurs when the coin is struck more than once in slightly different positions, causing a repeated or shadowed appearance in the design. Doubling can occur in the date, the word liberty, or even in the eagle's feathers and stars on the reverse. Coins with strong, clearly visible doubling are highly desirable because they represent a true minting anomaly rather than post-mint damage. Off-center strikes are another exciting type of error collectors look for. In some 1992 P half-dollars, the design may be noticeably misaligned, leaving a portion of the coin blank. The larger size of the half-dollar makes these errors more dramatic and visually striking compared to smaller denominations like pennies or nickels. Extreme off-center strikes are particularly rare and command significant attention from collectors. Plating and composition errors also occur in this year's coins. The Kennedy half-dollar in 1992 is copper-nickel clad with a copper core, and production errors can result in missing nickel layers, unusual surface texture, or abnormal coloration. Coins with mint-caused plating defects, peeling, or discoloration are highly sought after because they provide insight into the minting process and clearly distinguish the coin as a unique example. Die cracks, die chips, and weak strikes are additional features that increase a coin's collector value. Die cracks appear as raised lines caused by damage to the working die, while die chips appear as small blobs of extra metal. Weak strikes may manifest in softer details in Kennedy's hair, the eagle's feathers, or the lettering. When these occur in combination with doubling or off-center strikes, the coin becomes particularly collectible. Each coin with these errors is essentially one of a kind. Condition remains a crucial factor in determining the value of a 1992 P Kennedy half-dollar. Although many coins were lightly circulated or stored in rolls, The highest value goes to examples with minimal wear, sharp details, and strong luster. Coins that retain their original brightness and show clean surfaces are far rarer than their circulated counterparts. Collectors often seek coins with original mint luster, crisp edges, and perfect details, which are highly prized and visually stunning. The 1992 P. Kennedy half-dollar appeals to coin lovers not just because of its design or errors, but because of the excitement of discovery. Modern coins often hide subtle variations and minting mistakes that require close inspection to uncover. Finding a coin with doubling, an off-center strike, or a die crack in everyday circulation or stored rolls is a thrilling experience that reminds collectors why they study coins so carefully. It encourages patience, observation, and an appreciation for the artistry and complexity of coin production. Now we come to the question everyone is curious about: the value and worth of this coin. In the real market today, a normal circulated 1992 P. Kennedy half-dollar is usually worth face value in words. A well-preserved uncirculated example with strong mint luster can be worth several dollars in words. Coins exhibiting clear doubled die errors, dramatic off-center strikes, or significant die cracks have sold at auction for amounts described as tens to hundreds of dollars in words. Exceptional error coins in top-grade condition have reached prices described as over $1,000 in words. This shows that even modern coins like the 1992 P. Kennedy half-dollar can hold hidden rarity, collector value, and historical interest, rewarding those who take the time to examine them closely and appreciate their unique characteristics. Coin number 6. We are uncovering the story of a coin that may appear ordinary to many, yet holds hidden rarity, collector value, and fascinating minting details that make it highly desirable. This is the United States of America Rare Kennedy 1998 P half-dollar coin. At first glance, it seems like just another modern half-dollar, something you may have seen in circulation or in coin rolls, but the 1998 P Kennedy half-dollar has unique features, potential minting errors, and characteristics that make it a treasure for collectors. If you are a coin enthusiast, history lover, or someone fascinated by hidden value, listen carefully because this coin shows how even relatively modern coins can be exciting and rare. The year 1998 sits well into the modern era of U.S. coinage. By this time, the Kennedy half-dollar was primarily a collector's coin rather than one used frequently in daily transactions. Millions of these coins were produced at the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P Mint mark under the date. While mass production creates the illusion of sameness, it also allows for subtle variations, errors, and anomalies that make certain coins stand out. Collectors know that careful observation can reveal hidden treasures that may go unnoticed by casual observers. On the obverse, Kennedy's iconic portrait dominates the coin with striking detail. Collectors examine the contours of his hair, the definition of his jawline, and the precision of the lettering surrounding the portrait. These details are not only aesthetically pleasing but also help identify errors such as doubled dies or weak strikes. The reverse features the presidential seal with its intricate eagle, shield, and stars. Even the smallest irregularities in the feathers, stars, or lettering can signify a unique minting variation. Each coin from this year can carry subtle differences that are of immense interest to collectors. One of the most exciting types of errors to look for on the 1998 P Kennedy half-dollar is doubled dies. Doubling occurs when the die strikes the coin more than once in slightly different positions, creating a shadowed or repeated appearance in the design. Doubling can appear in the date, the word Liberty, or even in the eagle's feathers and stars on the reverse. Coins with strong, clearly visible doubling are highly sought after because they represent a true minting anomaly rather than post-mint damage. These doubled die errors are well documented by collectors and can dramatically increase the coin's desirability. Off-center strikes are another type of error that can occur with these coins. When the coin is not properly aligned during striking, part of the planchet remains blank while the design is shifted. The larger surface area of the half-dollar makes these off-center strikes particularly dramatic and visually striking. Extreme off-center coins are rare and highly prized by collectors who specialize in modern error coins. Plating and composition issues are also notable for this year. The Kennedy half-dollar is made of a copper nickel clad with a copper core, and production anomalies can result in missing nickel layers, unusual surface texture, or color variations. Coins with mint-made plating errors, such as peeling, uneven surfaces, or discoloration, are extremely desirable. These errors provide a glimpse into the minting process and distinguish the coin as a unique example from mass-produced issues. Die cracks, die chips, and weak strikes further contribute to the coin's rarity. Die cracks appear as raised lines across the coin, while die chips show as small blobs of extra metal caused by worn or damaged dies. Weak strikes often manifest as softened details, especially in Kennedy's hair, the eagle's feathers, or the lettering. Coins exhibiting these characteristics, particularly when combined with doubling or off-center strikes, are some of the most collectible and valuable examples from this year. Each one is effectively one of a kind. Condition is another critical factor. Many 1998 P. Kennedy half dollars were lightly circulated or stored in rolls, so uncirculated examples with sharp details, smooth surfaces, and strong luster are considerably rarer. Coins that retain original mint brilliance, crisp edges, and perfect design elements attract serious collectors and are visually stunning. Even minor imperfections can greatly influence value, making condition assessment a central part of collecting this modern half dollar for coin enthusiasts. The 1998 P. Kennedy half dollar represents more than just a collector item. It embodies careful observation, patience, and the excitement of discovery. Modern coins like this one demonstrate that rarity and value are not solely dependent on age or precious metal content. Instead, errors, striking anomalies, and exceptional preservation can make a seemingly ordinary coin a valuable and historically interesting piece. Collectors enjoy the thrill of finding subtle doubling, off-center strikes, or die cracks in coins that many would otherwise overlook. Now we come to value and market worth. In the real market today, a normal circulated 1998 P. Kennedy half dollar is usually worth face value in words. A well-preserved uncirculated example with full luster can be worth several dollars in words. Coins exhibiting clear doubled die details, dramatic off-center strikes, or notable die cracks have sold at auction for amounts described as tens to hundreds of dollars in words. Exceptional error coins in top-grade condition have reached prices described as over $1,000 in words. This demonstrates that even modern Kennedy half dollars like the 1998 P can carry hidden rarity, collector value, and historical interest, rewarding those who take the time to examine them closely and appreciate their unique characteristics. Coin number 7. We are diving deep into one of the modern era's most fascinating collectible coins, a coin that at first glance may appear ordinary, yet holds hidden details, minting errors, and collector value that make it a true treasure. This is the United States of America Rare Kennedy 1997 P half dollar coin. Many people have seen Kennedy half dollars in circulation, in rolls, or in collections, but few realize that certain 1997 P examples have characteristics that make them rare, unique, and highly desirable for collectors. If you are passionate about coins, history, or the excitement of discovering hidden value, listen very carefully, because this coin is a perfect example of how even relatively modern coins can carry surprises. The year 1997 was firmly in the modern coin era, and the Kennedy half dollar was produced primarily as a collector's coin rather than one used in everyday commerce. Millions of coins were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, marked with the small p mint mark below the date. High production numbers often create the illusion of uniformity, yet this also opens the door for subtle anomalies, errors, and variations that make certain coins stand out. Serious collectors know that careful observation can reveal treasures in coins that most people would pass over without a second thought. The obverse of the 1997 P. Kennedy half dollar features the iconic portrait of President John F. Kennedy, a design that has remained one of the most recognizable in American coinage for decades. Collectors examine fine details including the texture of Kennedy's hair, the contour of his jawline, and the precision of the lettering surrounding the portrait. Even minor deviations can indicate a unique minting variety or error. On the reverse, the presidential seal, with its eagle, shield, and stars, is intricately detailed, and collectors scrutinize every feather, star, and line for doubling, weak strikes, or die cracks. One of the most desirable features of the 1997 P. Kennedy half dollar is doubled dies. Doubled die errors occur when the coin is struck more than once in slightly different positions, resulting in a shadowed or repeated appearance of the design. This doubling can appear in the date, the word liberty, or even in the eagle's feathers and the stars on the reverse. Coins with strong, clearly visible doubling are highly prized because they represent a genuine minting anomaly rather than post-mint damage. Collectors actively seek these coins because doubling is relatively rare in the modern era, and it dramatically increases a coin's collectible value. Off-center strikes are another type of error that can make the 1997 P. Kennedy half-dollar particularly eye-catching. These occur when the planchet is not properly aligned during striking, leaving part of the coin blank. The larger surface area of the half-dollar makes these off-center strikes especially dramatic, and extreme examples are highly prized by collectors. Even subtle misalignments can attract attention because they reflect the intricacies of the minting process and the occasional imperfections that occur during production. Plating and composition anomalies are also notable for coins of this year. The 1997 P. Kennedy half-dollar is made of a copper-nickel clad composition with a copper core. Occasionally, production errors can result in uneven nickel layers, peeling, discoloration, or unusual surface textures. Coins with mint-caused plating defects are particularly desirable because they provide insight into the manufacturing process and clearly distinguish the coin as a unique example. These features are sought after by collectors who specialize in modern era coins. Die cracks, die chips, and weak strikes further contribute to the coin's rarity and collectible appeal. Die cracks appear as raised lines caused by damage to the working die, while die chips manifest as small blobs of extra metal on the coin's surface. Weak strikes can result in softer or less defined details, especially in Kennedy's hair, the eagle's feathers, or the lettering. Coins exhibiting these features, especially when combined with doubling or off-center strikes, become highly valuable collector pieces. Each coin is effectively one of a kind. Condition remains a central factor when assessing value. Although many 1997 P. Kennedy half-dollars were lightly circulated or stored in rolls, uncirculated examples with sharp details, smooth surfaces, and strong luster are much rarer. Coins that retain their original mint brilliance, crisp edges, and perfect design elements are highly prized. Even minor imperfections can influence value, which is why careful inspection is essential for collectors seeking the finest examples. For coin lovers, the 1997 P. Kennedy half-dollar is a reminder that rarity, value, and historical interest are not always dependent on age or precious metal content. The coin represents careful observation, patience, and the thrill of discovery. Modern coins can carry unique minting anomalies, subtle errors, and pristine condition examples that make them highly collectible. The excitement comes from finding a coin with doubling, off-center strikes, die cracks, or exceptional preservation in everyday circulation or stored rolls, a reminder that treasure can be hidden in plain sight. Now we come to the moment collectors are most curious about: the value and market worth of this coin. In the real market today, a normal circulated 1997 P. Kennedy half-dollar is usually worth face value in words. A high-grade uncirculated example with full mint luster can be worth several dollars in words. Coins displaying clear doubled die errors, dramatic off-center strikes, or notable die cracks have sold at auction for amounts described as tens to hundreds of dollars in words. Exceptional error coins in top condition have reached prices described as over $1,000 in words. This demonstrates that even a modern coin like the 1997 P. Kennedy half-dollar can carry hidden rarity, collector value, and historical interest, rewarding those who take the time to examine it closely and appreciate its unique characteristics.